I think my new dream job would be bartender this coming Wednesday on SmackDown for the BELLAbration. I can see it now. Hi there, sir. Welcome to the party. Would you like some beer? Would you like some vodka? Would you like some rum, rye, scotch, booze of any kind, moonshine, or the house special YWC Tears? Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your review for the season premiere of Monday Night Raw, here on whatever the heck day it is, the 14th of September, 2015. We start off, as I'm sure we will all bitch about, because it's what you're supposed to do. It says so in the YWC rulebook. You have to complain about this one. It's just how it has to happen. Look in the YWC rulebook. We're gonna be going into that book a lot. I tell you what. But we start off with the Authority. The Authority coming and pausing and showing the Connor's Cure logo that is on the rampway to the ring, because it's I think Pediatric Child's Cancer Awareness Month or whatever, which is fucking wonderful. Because, say what you will about the Authority and the Authority roles and Roddy Rah, you know Stephanie and Triple H, you know, threw their heart and soul into Connor's Cure. It's great. The ropes being white and yellow, as they are for the Susan G. Komen when they go pink, is a nice little touch. But whenever I see somebody trying to break a submission hold in the yellow rope, and it just makes me think of NXT, and no, this is the big stage. This is Monday Night Raw. You don't want to have that. But no, in all seriousness, all trolling aside, the Connor's Cure is a great thing. We're going to get that a little bit later in the show as well. They welcome everybody here to the season premiere of Raw, all the new stars we've seen this year, and they rhyme them off: Owens, Rusev, Cesaro, the Divas Revolution, Roman, Ambrose, Wyatt family, etc. And you know, it's all great. We've had a great year. We've had a lot of new talent. We're really looking at the future, but the future is going to be led by Seth Rollins, and we all know this. They talk about the Divas Revolution, and they lead us into a conversation about Nikki Bella versus Charlotte tonight, how they both have something to gain tonight. Nikki wins. She gets to keep her winning streak alive, and she gets to beat AJ Lee's record in like 2 hours or whatever the Bellatron counts down to. If Charlotte wins, she, in a very short period of time, becomes the Divas champion. Now, I could point out the YWC hypocrisy and say if this was any other new guy being pushed way too fast, if it was a Ryback, if it was a Roman Reigns, if it was a Sheamus, this would be the worst thing in the world. But Charlotte, I tell you what, Charlotte is untouchable because she's from NXT, guys. You got to get that straight. You got to look for the loopholes in the YWC rulebook. Oh, yes, we get the announcement that Sting is going to compete tonight. And I thought they were going to leave it at that. I thought they were going to say, oh, Sting's got an unnamed opponent and he was going to go up against somebody. But they announced that it's going to be at the Big Show, which is a little bit of a wah-wah, which is fine. Then they announced that the other title match we have coming up tonight is the New Day versus the Primetime Players. Stephanie and Triple H proceed to introduce the Primetime Players, which is great. Even better is when Triple H leaves the ring, turns around, sees that Stephanie is dancing with the Primetime Players. They got the trombone and the whole bit. Triple H coming and doing the creepy gyrating Big E thing, while Xavier Woods has the trombone. But before I go any further, I do have to say, ring gear doesn't really matter until it does. And my boys, the New Day. I love these guys. I was the one, when you guys were all hating the gimmick, and go back in my video history to prove it, that was loving this gimmick when you guys were all hating it before you all jumped on the bandwagon. These are my boys. Make no mistake about it. But they came out dressed like watermelons tonight. Oh, yes, it's true. It's true. Doesn't stop the fact that this was a great, great match. We all know the story going into this. Primetime Players hadn't had their rematch yet. Primetime Players got their shot tonight. The winners of this match went on to face the Dudley Boys at Night of Champions. Now, I said last week that it was kind of weird that the number one contenders are established for Night of Champions before the champions are, but again, it's the fucking Dudley Boys. It's a thing. It would be like if the Hardys came back. sorry to break it to you, but if the Hardy Boys come back, they're getting a title run, and they're probably going in the Hall of Fame. Just putting that one out there. Sorry, Kristen. Shit. I have to do a collab with her in 2 days. That should be nice. Young and Kofi start off. Quick roll-up attempts by Young and a snapmare by the head. Darren works over the arm. Okay, I gotta say something. Everybody in the WWE got the same programming tonight. Everybody downloaded their brains into the big YWC database. Triple H hit, a menu or a command somewhere that said, work the arm. Because if you'll notice tonight, work the arm is a constant trend tonight. I love psychology. Don't get me wrong. I love psychology and selling and all that. That's one of my big problems with Daniel Bryan, isn't it? Oh, wait. Shit. Fuck, gotta go back to the book again. What's 753? Thou shalt not make fun of the goat. Sorry, guys, I have to go sacrifice a catfish to the wrestling gods, which is JBL. So now JBL's eating a catfish somewhere because I told the truth about Daniel Bryan. Moving on, but the story of the night is work everybody's arm. Darren works the arm. Titus and Big E brawl because they're big, and that's what they do. Slam by Titus and a leg drop. Primetime players both pound on Big E for a while. You feel double teaming from a face team is a little bit awkward, but it didn't last very long. A slap clothesline by Titus, and what I mean by that is I believe it was Big E running towards Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil hadn't even gotten up yet. Titus O'Neil had just barely gotten to his knees, and he slaps what the hell's his name? Big E Langston in the chest, but he does it in such a way that it has the same effect as a clothesline. Just freaking bear paw him in the chest. It was nice. It's very simple, but I love Titus O'Neil's offense because of that. It's very simple. It's not clean. It's not nice and pretty. He doesn't, do a nice picture-perfect, wrestling 101 German suplex. He throws people because he's fucking huge. He punches them in the chest with the palm of his hand because he's fucking huge. It's great. Rolling clotheslines and a belly-to-belly overhead suplex by Darren Young. A boot and a trip by Kofi Kingston. Darren Young eats post by Big E on the outside. Xavier Woods, after Darren hits the post, it's fucking great. Puts the trombone down for a second. Darren, what happened to you, bro? New Day do their now very typical rotating mudhole stomp, and then Big E slingshots Kofi Kingston into Darren with that slingshot double boot low drop kick thing that he does, complete with Xavier Woods on the outside doing the trombone, which is great. When we come back from a commercial break, Darren Young is still on the outside, and Xavier Woods is playing the Pink Panther theme. For any of you younger viewers out there that don't know the Pink Panther theme, it's the dun 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 dun. Anyways, Big E tosses Young. Big E has Darren Young on the outside. I'm trying to... You guys know me. As soon as it's something that doesn't have a proper name, I don't know how to properly describe it to you guys. Big E has Darren Young on the outside. Irish whips him down the aisleway. On the outside, Kofi Kingston, who's standing on the apron, just takes enough time to boot him in the back of the head. It's just fucking great. Young eats guardrail by Big E. Kofi rides a headlock to remind us that he's a bad guy. Remember, guys, the heels in WWE are always very nice. In case you forget, here's your headlock. I'm a bad guy. Let's go New Day. New Day sucks chants. Loud and proud, in Memphis tonight. Big boot by Young, hot tag, and Titus kills everybody. Because that's what he does. Tosses Kofi, hits Big E with a big boot, and hits the multiple backbreakers on Kofi. Splash on both of the New Day members by Titus in the corner. Spinebuster on Big E. Trouble in Paradise to Young on the outside. Titus breaks the trombone when Xavier Woods tries to distract him, but the distraction is successful. And a double team big ending on Titus O'Neil, which is pretty fucking impressive, because like I say, he's a big guy. Watching Big E Langston carry Titus O'Neil on his shoulders looks like it shouldn't happen. if that makes sense. It looks like if you've ever had a friend that goes camping and takes a canoe with them, if you imagine a friend with a really, really big canoe on a really, really small car, that's what Big E doing the big ending looks like when he's doing it to Titus O'Neil. I mean, the big ending is a weird move anyway. It's basically, as we've said in many collabs before, it's basically an RKO to the stomach. I wish they found a better move for him, but it's good. Dudley Boys don't get involved. They make their presence known at the top of the ramp. They talk some shit, and that's the end of the segment. We are left to wonder, going into Sunday, what that match is going to be like. You know, 3-on-2, maybe, perhaps. There's some special they're doing on the WWE Network with the New Day called Table for 3, and that sounds really lame, and I'd rather talk to you guys. Wyatts are going to be on the season premiere of Miz TV tonight, which is great, and we see a video package highlighting some of Sting's past matches. They do this throughout the night. The first one they show is Sting and Dusty Rhodes taking on the Road Warriors, and I think winning? Maybe. NWA days? Maybe. We see Triple H and Stephanie and Seth in the back say, okay, you've already taken care of Sting tonight. I got 2 other problems, Cena and Sheamus. What are we going to do about them? Triple H just kind of smiles and says, I guess you've solved your own problem. Cena versus Sheamus tonight, which... Okay. Every big, great, entertaining balloon has one little thing that's going to deflate it, right? I'll give you that one. But we have Renee Young interviewing Charlotte, and that basically... She says what she's going to say. Oh, you know, Divas Revolution, you know, we're taking the Bellas, and the Bellas don't deserve it, and Roddy, basically everything that the YWC has been trained to say. I think it's line 3, paragraph 12 of the YWC rulebook. You're not allowed to ever give the Bellas credit for anything ever. Guys, you guys know the YWC rulebook better than I do. Please tell me chapter and verse where it is the statute on hating the Bellas. I want to make sure I'm quoting it properly. But basically, it's cool to see Charlotte's there, her dad's there. We're setting up a big emotional night tonight. Paige with Becky Lynch in her corner versus Sasha with Tamina and Naomi. I think it's great the way they did this. They have Charlotte not there with her teammate. She's getting ready for her title match. So there is, even though it's a one-on-one match, there's a 3-on-2 advantage, which is another theme which you will see throughout the night tonight. Paige versus Sasha is a fucking tremendous feud, and I wish we were getting another round of this on Sunday as well, but if they save it for Survivor Series, which I really want them to do, that won't hurt my feelings at all. Ground and pound to start by Paige, you know, coming off of the... I should have said something a minute ago. I didn't review SmackDown this week. There was a couple of really good things. One of them was a really good, decent brawl between Paige and Sasha Banks, which ended up being a brawl between PCB and Team Bad. Naomi sticks herself in there to try and be relevant. You know, it is what it is. Ground and pound to start. Paige hits a Veal by the hair twice. Sasha hangmans Paige's arm on the ropes. Again, we're working the arm. Like I say, the download that happened before this show. Paige eats apron on the outside. Basically, she hits an arm wringer and basically drives Paige shoulder and face first into the edge of the apron, which is, as Taz will tell you, if you're listening to his podcast, or if you used to hear him as a commentator, remind you 100 times a day that is the hardest part of the ring. So there's some good psychology there. Works on the arm in the ropes. Sasha locks in a key lock and a drop kick by Sasha and a boot by Paige. Paige hits the 10 high knees in the corner, which is always great, and follows it up with a super kick. Also great. We have a really complex... I don't know how to... It was words I can speak, I swear. There is a very nicely done and well choreographed reversal sequence by the two girls, but not to be outdone, Paige hits what I can only call a female Lesnar-like belly-to-back suplex on Sasha Banks, launching her out of the ring. She takes an extra little bit of time to try and pull off the cannonball off the apron. Tamina pulls Sasha out of the way. Paige crashes and burns. Sasha, miraculous recovery. If I was going to nitpick this match, I would have had Sasha just sell the suplex on the outside and lose by countout. But she comes back inside, you know, like I say, miraculous recovery, hits the bank statement, and gets a almost clean as a sheet submission victory on Paige. Again, you guys know I'm a huge fan of Paige, but I don't have any problem with Sasha winning this match. This match was phenomenal. I hope this series continues. And you know what? I almost hope, we all know, I want Paige back in the title picture. I wouldn't mind Sasha back in the title. I want Becky in the title picture. Anybody but Naomi. Anybody but you, Naomi. Anybody but you. But in all seriousness, I want them to just continue this feud for the sake of a feud. I don't even think this particular feud needs the belt. Let the Bellas and Charlotte and them fight over the belt for a while. Let these two just fucking kill each other. Because they've shown the past couple of days we can kill each other. We've seen what Sasha and Becky can do. Paige came up to the roster before the real genesis of this diva movement, you know, badass, ass-kicking, you know, skull-cracking matches started happening on NXT with Charlotte and Sasha and Becky and even Bayley to a certain extent. But she's proving that she can go along with that flow. If what we got with Sasha and Becky Lynch on NXT is any indication, I wouldn't mind if this is the point where WWE says maybe a no disqualification match, maybe an Iron Woman match, which we're apparently getting at the next takeover with Sasha and Bayley. Am I right on that one? Yeah, I have no problem with this whatsoever. Honestly and obviously, after the match, because Charlotte's not there, you got Team Bad with a 3-on-2 beatdown on Team PCB, and that's how we end the segment. We replay the Wyatts attacking Jimmy Uso on SmackDown. Anybody that didn't see SmackDown, I know, again, I know, it's right here. 1, 2, 3. It's line 7 of paragraph 75, I think. You're not supposed to admit anything good happens on SmackDown. But you had a great women's brawl on SmackDown, and you had a great 6-man on SmackDown, where it was the Wyatts versus... sorry, it wasn't the Wyatts, it was the New Day versus Ambrose, Reigns, and Jimmy Uso, who had been on commentary all summer while Booker T was doing Tough Enough, and had been on commentary all summer while his brother is rehabbing and doing whatever he needs to do. He made his return to the ring. He was on fire, and him and Ambrose being crazy while Roman Reigns was being the sane one was a really cool dynamic. But more to the point, they had a great dynamic as a 3-man team. Better for the story, though, however, is the fact that the Wyatts took him out, because basically they took out Orton, they took out Jimmy Uso, they're taking out anybody that could even possibly be a partner for Ambrose and Reigns at Sunday's pay-per-view, which is, I was about to say SummerSlam, and it's not, at No Way Out, or no. Miz botched. Miz is my boy. I'm botching on his behalf. Night of Champions. See, it fucks me up because it's not a championship match. But at Night of Champions, anybody who could be their partner has been taken out. And that's, you know, the menacing message we're supposed to get from the video package, whatever. We see a proper video package for the Connor's Cure Foundation, Connor Mahalik and his interactions with Daniel Bryan. We have interviews with his family, interviews with superstars, and how they can buy the Connor's Cure bracelets that you always see Stephanie McMahon wearing from WWE shop. All the proceeds and whatnot going to the Connor's Cure Foundation, which is a great thing. Like, whatever you want to say, even when WWE is in the shits, they still do good stuff in the community. And this is one of those things where it's like, okay, guys, they're doing a good thing. Let them do a good thing. We come back, and it's the season premiere of Miz TV with the Wyatt family. Wyatt family comes out, does their typical spooky thing. Miz sarcastically thanks them for the mood lighting. Bray takes a chair. Braun Strowman is his name. Luke Harper, they toss their chairs out, and Miz is about to sit, and he says, "You shouldn't sit, Miz, because you are not safe." And Miz, you know, immediately shitting his pants, is like, "Hey, guys, before we get started, guys, hold on. I'm not their partner on Sunday. But I'm not your partner, but everybody wants to know who Braun Strowman is." Bray Wyatt says, "Well, why don't you ask him yourself?" And then he gets all shit-faced and whatever. And Bray starts mocking him and says, "Oh, come on, Miz, this is your show. Don't you want the big scoop?" Miz, to his credit, gets in Bray Wyatt's face and says, "No, Bray, but what do you want?" Bray goes on a great promo about how he wants everybody to suffer. "Miz, I want you to suffer. I want these people to suffer. I want people like Randy Orton and Jimmy Uso and anybody else that thinks they're going to align themselves with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose to suffer. And just remember that one by one, they all fall down." Roman Reigns and Ambrose come out through the crowd, Ambrose boots Miz and dumps him out of the ring right away. Like I say, my boy, The Miz, is great in his role right now because he comes out, he's obnoxious, somebody kicks his ass, and he collects his paycheck, which is fine. We have a 3-on-2 stare down. Roman Reigns has a good little tiny promo where it says, you think you're a big man, you're sitting there up on your throne, behind these monsters. If you were a man, you could have beaten me 1-on-1. If you and Luke Harper were men, you could have beaten us 2-on-2. But now you had to get this monster. Let you know we got a partner too, and he's gonna make this into a war. We're gonna win 3-on-3, and that's about it. There's no brawl, which is kind of unfortunate. Again, with the repeating themes of the night, you have a 3-on-2 situation, and again, we are teasing a lot towards Night of Champions. I'm going to mess up the name 100 times, I can tell. This is how this video is going to go. Another Sting video. Another Sting, like, Blast from the Past type thing is Sting, Starrcade versus Ric Flair. A bunch of people around the ring making sure that the Four Horsemen don't get involved, etc. I think it's kind of cool that they did a Four Horsemen related thing when you got Charlotte, who's supposedly a member of the Four Horsewomen, except only 3 of them came up to the main roster. So, yeah. Cena versus Sheamus. I don't care, and Cena wins with the AA. That's all I have for that. I don't care. Ryback comes out, and Ryback's got a microphone. And I will admit, even I said, oh, this can't really be good. But Ryback comes out, he talks about being the Intercontinental Championship. He does a bad Elvis impression because they're in Memphis, which is fine. Last week on SmackDown, Owens cost him the match against the Lumberjack match against Rollins, which is, putting a story together at the last minute, I will give you that. Owens has no respect. Owens comes out and mocks Ryback's recovery story, his life story. He says, I feel sorry for you because you're garbage, and you're weak people need crutches, and look at you, you're a monster, how can you be so weak? It's a travesty that you were the Intercontinental Champion. Ryback says, you don't know who I am, you don't know what I'm about. I wake up every morning and I kick the day in the ass and say, feed me. He goes a bit cliche at this point. He says, I rose quick in the WWE, I'll admit that. I respect your story. You've had to claw for the past 15 years or so to get where you are now. You could be an inspiration to other people if you wanted to be. I will admit I rose up through the ranks quickly and I fell just as fast. The WWE Universe saw that happen right in front of their very eyes, but now I've clawed back up, I've recovered, and I'm the Intercontinental Champion. Owens says, if I ever had a chance, I'd take that off you in a second, and Ryback says, well, good. I talked to the Authority after what you pulled on SmackDown, and at Night of Champions this Sunday, it's going to be Fight Owens Fight versus Feed Me More. Great thing. We know Owens is good on the mic. Ryback held up his end a lot better than even I was giving him credit for. And I'm not going to lie, I said this on Twitter. Most people aren't, and I get that, and it's fine because, again, I think there's a sub-clause in the Cena contract in the YWC rulebook where you're not really supposed to give Ryback 100% credit. You can give him a little bit here and there, but you can't give him too much. I don't really care. 100% no sarcasm, 100% legit. I am all in for Ryback versus Kevin Owens at Night of Champions, and I hope, honestly, unless it ends up being the drizzling shits, I hope that it goes towards SummerSlam. I hope that Kevin Owens isn't successful the first time around and gets another match at Survivor Series with some kind of stip. We've got 5 days building to this pay-per-view. They weren't going to add a stip on the same night. We see Sting versus Hogan in the thralls of WCW versus the NWO when Sting became champion, which I'm really surprised with because we've already forgiven Hogan a little bit and we're already showing footage with Hogan in it. And I think it's really funny that Hollywood Hogan and Sting are both dressed in all black. Yeah. Naomi wasn't there, though. Stardust versus Neville didn't happen because Stardust came down with the Ascension, Neville came down with the Lucha Dragons as backup. There is a 2-second brawl, one head scissor by Neville on Stardust and Cosmic Wasteland bail. We find out later in the night from a WWE Facebook exclusive that the... What is it? It's not the pre-show anymore. It's the kickoff. There we go. The kickoff match for Night of Champions is going to be Cosmic Wasteland versus Neville and the Lucha Dragons, which is fine. I wanted to see the match anyway. I don't mind that it's on the pre-show because 2 6-man tags on the actual card would have been a bit much, would have been a bit repetitive. The only pay-per-view where you can get away with repeating gimmicks throughout the night is Survivor Series. Back in the day when Survivor Series only consisted of Survivor Series style matches. I don't think you want something like that on Night of Champions because a 6-man tag cannot possibly have titles involved or titles on the line unless you've got the tag team champions and a singles champion and it's all the titles on the line at once, and that's pretty much TNA angle, is it not? But this was harmless. It took up like 2 minutes, not even. I like the pairing of Stardust and the Ascension. People like Stardust. People like Cody Rhodes. People are on board, off board, on board, off board with whether or not Cody Rhodes should be Stardust or not. I think the more he's Stardust, the more he's getting into the character, the more I like it. I liked it to begin with. It started off as being a Goldust ripoff, and he's really taken it to a new and sort of different direction than what the Stardust Goldust was, because if they had kept that up, it would have just been Goldust Jr., and it's just not anymore. And now he's the one thing that I like when they read the quote from the WWE Facebook page is Stardust saying, "I'm coming to Night of Champions and I'm bringing Thunder and Lightning with me," and Thunder and Lightning obviously being Connor and Victor, which I think the one thing Stardust, aka Cody Rhodes, is really good at is the metaphors and the way that he can just. Some of it has got to be scripted because some of it like really ties into what they're doing at the time, but a lot of it sounds like it's spitballed. A lot of it sounds like it's improv and right off the cuff. I want to believe that it is because I really want to give Cody Rhodes that credit. Charlotte versus Nikki Bella for the Divas Championship and AJ's title record reign, whatever. When the match starts, the Bellatron is on the Titantron, which I think is a great, great psychological tool. You could have... The commentators didn't play up on it very much. I thought the commentators could have played off on, look at those numbers looming over Charlotte's shoulder. Tick-tock, tick-tock, towards your failure, towards more pressure, towards this woman that you don't think deserves to break this record breaks this record. I don't think they played up on that enough, to be quite honest with you, but that's the commentators. That is not the match. The match was great. We start off with collar and elbow tie-up and a belly-to-back suplex and a front face lock by Charlotte. Knee drops and a figure 4 rolling headlock. That thing that Charlotte does, where she figure 4s the head and rolls through and turns it into multiple slams. Corner spear by Charlotte. Top rope tornado arm breaker by Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella works the arm. It's good stuff. Works the arm in the ropes. Does the hangman on the ropes like we saw in the previous Divas match, which is, again, a little repetitive, but I'm not going to nitpick on it. Arm drag, face first, onto the apron by Nikki, which we already saw, which is getting a little more repetitive again. Standing armbar by Nikki, turns it into a short arm scissor, turns it into a Del Rio-style cross arm breaker. One-armed powerbomb by Charlotte is fucking impressive. I will give her that. Elbows, chops, and a boot by Charlotte. Dropkick to the face and one to the knee by Nikki. Spear by Charlotte. Alicia Fox distracts. Brie Bella decides she wants to get involved. Charlotte pins Brie and wins the match. ... Or does she? We have the commentators going nuts. We have Team PCB going nuts. We have Daddy crying in the corner because it's what Ric Flair does. And then Stephanie McMahon comes out and points out that you didn't pin Nikki, you pinned Brie. You can't win a championship from the champion's sister. And also, I hate to break it to you, but the minute that Brie laid her hands on you, she got her sister disqualified. Charlotte, you're the winner of the match, but not of the championship. And the tears fall. And Twitter explodes! And Facebook explodes! And my text inbox explodes! And I can shut off the plumbing in my house and bathe in the tears of the YWC, the tears of the NXT Can Do No Wrong marks, and the tears of the Charlotte fans. And I don't say that because I disrespect Charlotte. I really, really, really don't. And I really want people to grasp what I'm saying here. Because I know there's people out there that are going to twist this and you would only be happy if Paige or Becky won or whatever. I want Charlotte to be champion. I do. But, as I said on Twitter, it would be really, really wonderful if people could see the big picture. It really would. Now, let's take a look at this. Yeah, she beat AJ's record. We all miss AJ, so anybody that beats AJ's record, we're going to hate her. We already hate the Bellas, because like I said, we looked it up in the book, and we're supposed to hate the Bellas. We're supposed to hate anybody that breaks AJ's record, because AJ can do no wrong. I mean, I'm an AJ fan, but there's that thing as well. There is, somebody said to me that, oh, if they were going to do that, they should have just had interference and stopped the match. There is more pain for Charlotte in thinking that she won. Thinking that she won, holding the title in her hand. I don't know, hand. I can speak, I swear. T-shirts aren't getting made, but I can speak, I swear. Sitting in the ring, having a tearful celebration with her dad and all those meaningful things, and having it ripped from her clutches. And all these elements build to what we know is going to happen Sunday. I'm going to do my tackle preview panel with the Wrestle Recap crew this coming Wednesday. But here's a little spoiler. Charlotte's winning on Sunday. Like, that's a thing. So, Charlotte's got a better story now. We got more heat on the Bellas. We got more hate on the Bellas. And would you rather, if you're a Charlotte fan and if you're an NXT fan, have her win on a random episode of Raw? Or would you rather have her win the championship at a pay-per-view that is dedicated to champions? Stephanie McMahon adds the stipulation that there is no championship advantage for this match. You can lose your title, Nikki, by pin, submission, count out, or disqualification. Which I take to mean that there's going to be no Team PCB and no Team Bella at ringside, and we're going to have a proper, straight-up match, which is going to lead to a figure eight. It's going to lead to a Charlotte celebration, and it's going to lead to, the NXT fans not shitting their pants anymore. So basically, all of you closed-minded, narrow-minded people that have your nose so deep in the YWC rulebook that you can't tell your ass from a hologram and you can't tell the forest for the trees are mad because you have to wait 6 days. That's sad. And that's all I have to say about that. Never mind the fact that this was a great fucking match. That Charlotte looked great. That, while nobody's going to admit it, Nikki Bella looked great for the most part. Up until the end, there was no interference. So up until the end, this was a great one-on-one match. And nobody, as I say, will give Nikki Bella the credit that she deserves. Everybody will kiss Charlotte's ass. I mean, they should. She's great. But it takes two to tango. You can't dance by yourself. People need to fuck off. I'm just saying. Cesaro and Rusev have a fight, and there's nothing much to mention, other than Ziggler comes down to distract by giving Summer Rae a present. Rusev gets distracted, Cesaro gets the win, people get to cheer for Cesaro, so maybe that'll help them lick their wounds. Cesaro gets a win with a really awkward, threefold package kind of roll-up that I hope I never see again, quite frankly, because it looked really, really awkward. The bigger story is that Ziggler gave Summer Rae a present. Summer Rae is checking on Rusev, but she's still got the present behind her back. After the break, you see them walking to the change room. He locks Summer out of the change room, and she opens up the present, and it looks like it's earrings or something like that. Some little bauble that girls can faff over. The end. The last match is Big Show versus Sting, which is pretty much nothing, and Rollins runs in, and Cena runs in, and it gets made into a tag match, and, holla, 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 playa, playa, playa. We get a random tag match to end the show, which ends with Rollins tapping out to the sharpshooter figure 4. No, there we go. Scorpion Deathlock. Got there in the end. Rollins falls, Cena and Sting stand tall, so I predict Rollins is going to do good this Sunday. That's just how that one works. Now, let's go through what we've got for Sunday, just a little bit, a little preview for Wednesday, as I say. You got the Cosmic Wasteland versus Neville and Lucha Dragons. You've got the Wyatt family versus Ambrose, Reigns, and people are either saying Baron Corbin or Eric Rowan. I want it to be anybody but Eric Rowan. Cena versus Rollins, Sting versus Rollins, the New Day versus the Dudley Boys. You've got Owens versus Owens versus Ryback. You've got Rusev versus Ziggler, which is a storyline that shouldn't really be happening as Lana's not there and she's the crux of the story. It's a good little show that they've put together. Keep in mind, guys, Night of Champions, as much as they try to make it a Big Four, it's not a Big Four pay-per-view. But if this had been SummerSlam, I wouldn't have minded. I'm honestly putting that one out there right now. Yeah. Everything, you'll notice that my tone kind of went down after the Divas match, because that was the talking point of the night. A lot of people were saying it should have been the main event, and quite frankly, I agree with you. If we had ended Raw with that screw job, the fans would have gone pissed off into Night of Champions, and it would have made their celebration on Sunday all the more better. Because, you know, as I say, I'm pretty much the only person left in this community that watches SmackDown, and then you know what, that's okay. Because I get little gems like the 6-man tag we had on SmackDown last week, and I get little gems like the Diva Brawl that we had on SmackDown last week, and I get little storytelling quirks like the taking out of Jimmy Uso and them putting heavy focus on the fact that he's Roman Reigns' cousin. We get I got to see the actual beginning motion that started off this match we're going to see on Sunday between Owens and Ryback. So yeah, if they had made the Divas match the last match on Raw, most people that would have been the last thing they saw going into Night of Champions, and that women's title match would have been one of the main events of the show. They didn't do that. They ended with Sting versus The Big Show, which turned into Sting and John Cena versus The Big Show and Rollins, which I'm sure a lot of people didn't care for. I'm not going to say it was great either. You had that, you had Cena versus Sheamus. Take those off the show, you got a pretty damn fucking good show. Like I say, you can't change how good a match was by the fact that you don't like who won. You can't go back in time. You can't do it, guys. I'm sorry. Much as you want to. As much as you want to. You know, it's like the Owens and Cena matches. You know, oh, man, this is a fucking great match. Oh my god. During the match, you follow the Twitter feed. Oh my god, this is such a great match. Da, da, da. Oh my god, Cena won again. This match is fucking bullshit. You can't go back in time. You can't. Nikki versus Charlotte was a great match. Credit to both girls. Paige versus Sasha. Credit to both girls. Both of those matches deserve to happen at Night of Champions. They do. And that's just a thing. You had to know going into this show that Charlotte wasn't going to get the title tonight. I mean, if anybody actually... I'm sorry, and I don't say this very often, and I'm going to probably take it back as soon as I say it, but if you thought that Charlotte was winning tonight, you're a dumbass. Storytelling 101 says, give us one last reason to hate the heel before going into a major pay-per-view. I don't know. I just don't know. I thought it was fucking great, and apparently I'm an asshole for that. Yeah. A lot of YWC drama going on, too, between a couple people that shall remain nameless for now. Might do a video on that sometime in the next couple of days. Don't know. If you know who I'm talking about, then you know who I'm talking about. If you don't, then don't worry about it. I will be back on Wednesday with the recap crew and another special guest. I wonder who that could be. Tune in Wednesday. Until then, this has been your Raw review, and I, of course, have been Spaz Phoenix, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Woo!